the question is, how good a guitar can you make from an inexpensive instrument if you put time and effort and work into it? And I had the chance to answer that because a friend of mine bought me this Donner Telecaster on Walmart for $100. He got two of them. He got one, I got one, and I set them both up for us. I'm going to go over all the changes that were made. But you know what? To be fair, let me give you a sound test right now so you know what this thing sounds like. Now, I set my guitar up like a 1950s broadcaster, no-caster. A lot of people don't do that. That's wiring, and put in Fender pots and a Fender switch. But this wiring gives three sounds: a very, very rich the rich, thick sound. Then you go to the center position and you get a medium hot. And then, if you go all the way back, you get the bark. Wow. I love the guitar. Let's go over everything that was done. Now this is a tool you can buy from Walmart about $1.50 or $1.10. It's got a lot of different smoothnesses. It's made to do nails, but you'll find that the foam backing makes it easy to do some other things, like you can use it on the side using like a medium and then going to fine and then ultra fine to smooth this edge and to smooth the frets a little. Frets weren't bad, I just wanted them like butter. So I did that. Okay, that was one thing. Then on the back of the neck, I sanded it a little bit with 600 grit and I used some steel wool. Okay, and then lots of time to really set it up right. And that meant intonation perfect, which I like it actually dead on a chromatic tuner. So whatever it reads on this at the low note, at the high I want the same. I don't want it a little flat. I tried that. And a lot of time playing with the pickups, coming up and down on both sides. And I did bring these pickups down off the low strings a little bit to kind of get rid of some muddiness. So I did that. And of course on the frets, I polished them with that polisher, and the frets faces themselves with the finer things on this thing, okay? It's not taking off any metal, it's just a polisher if you use the right setting. You want to be careful about that. And so I ended up with a very smooth playable neck. Now you want to be sure that you tighten up these screws and the screws in the back and the nuts up here, because if you don't, the tuners won't work well. A lot of people online, they're complaining about the tuners. They just didn't tighten them up. They go on a boat from China from 3 weeks on the water, and it vibrates because of the engines, and it loosens all that stuff up. Tighten up these screws too. Tighten them up, tighten them all up. And so that completes the basic setup. But then I got it in my head to go ahead and wire it with leaving the pickups, but everything else, replacing the wires, replacing the potentiometers, which are called pots. Those are actually a potentiometer. And also to get rid of and replace a capacitor and also a resistor. So I went in with the help of somebody, and we rebuilt the electronics. Now, it's interesting that the Nocaster broadcaster, the tone knob doesn't do anything with tone at all. As a matter of fact, it doesn't do much. In the fast forward position where we have that, this beautiful rich sound, this knob does nothing. This is strictly volume. I like that. I think it's kind of jazz-like. And then in the middle position, all you really have is your volume, and this doesn't do anything. And then in the far back position, they say that this moves you back and forth from these two, but I don't really hear it. But I will say there's another position, which is manually between this one and that one, and that gives you both pickups. This is kind of a fluke that you can get. See, that's different from and then the center. See, it is actually a position. Now, if I wanted to, I could take a Dremel tool and go, I would actually grind a little spot for that little roller to plop into, but I don't mind doing it, manually. But anyhow, now, the cool news is I have invested in this 17 plus a set of strings, $7, $24, because the guitar was a gift. Okay, let me quantify the work done. For the setup, $175, $200 if somebody were charging. For the electronics work, easily $200. So, but if you do this stuff yourself, and by the way, I showed you the tool so you can see, you can do it yourself. By the way, if you want to see one that's done a bunch of guitars and is shot, you can see they go to, they don't last that long. But again, for what you got here, I love it. So the point is, this is a great guitar. It's not a great guitar for $100. I'm not putting a qualifier on it. It's a great guitar. By the way, the capacitor on that rich tone was a 0.05 in case you were interested in that. It's a pretty beefy, capacitor. I don't even know what the resistor was. We didn't have quite the right one. This is actually a 0.425 instead of, 0.0425. We didn't have a 0.05, we used 0.04. That works about the same. But, stock guitar, decent bones, nice neck, playable, beautiful finish. I mean, I didn't pay any money for I did buy a switch, that was the 17 bucks. But my buddy had two old CTV potentiometers. We put them in just because they were there. It could be. Anyhow, I love the guitar. I did smooth that too, I'll tell you that. I tried 9s, too bright, went 10 strings, and you know, I'm happy. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I got this on Walmart, or he did, $100, including free shipping.